I want to talk about the importance of discipline today on this Speakdom. One of the things I've noticed, and it's been a recurring thing nowadays more than in the past, is a lot of people don't have enough discipline and don't understand that discipline is a very important factor when it comes to whether or not you're going to be successful at whatever venture you're trying. I've noticed that lately in the world, it's become a thing where it's okay for men specifically to become, a bit more emotional. And there's nothing wrong necessarily with being emotional, and there's nothing wrong with going through pain and having to get it out somehow. But what's also happened as a side effect, and a lot of this has to do with the fact that a lot of people are being raised by single mothers now, and I'll get into what this means, is that the industriousness, the focus, the drive to be successful at whatever somebody's successful at is missing in a lot of people. And I'm here to try to help you out with that. And the key really is discipline. You've heard people say this, including me, that, don't give up, shoot for your dreams, go for what you want to do. I've talked about that, and it's such a basic motivational thing to say. Every motivational speaker says the same thing, and a lot of them just say it because others have said it. But really, the question is, well, how? And that's where things become different. I can tell you, go shoot for your dreams and go and try to accomplish something, but a lot of folks don't really go for it. And the big reason why is because they lack discipline. Now, discipline is the most important thing that you need when it comes to being a competitor. And the reality is that in this world that we live in now, especially here in the West, a capitalistic society, it's player versus player. It's basically you versus the world. You understand? And because of that, you're going to be running into people who are going to be more driven than you, who are going to be smarter than you. They're going to be harder working than you. They're going to have more breaks than you. And so it's going to be competitive out there. The thing that you have to keep in mind, what's going to set you apart from others, is not only how much you research, how much work you put in. It's really going to be about discipline. Discipline is super important. For example, take Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. Kobe Bryant said numerous times that he would be the guy to always go and wake up at 4 in the morning every day, go to the gym, go to the basketball court and practice. That's why Kobe Bryant has 5 NBA championships. That's why he led the Lakers for all those years with Shaq, and then later without Shaq with, Paul Gasol and that squad. But a lot of people nowadays, I feel, are far too into their own emotions and far less driven than they should be. And because of that, later in life, they end up regretting it. There are days when I wake up and I don't want to work. There are days where I wake up and I'm just like, okay, I don't want to do anything today. I want to sit around all day and watch YouTube or play video games. And that's what I want to do. And unfortunately, sometimes you end up doing that. And then when you end up doing that, you've just wasted time. Now, some of you may not consider that a waste of time. But if you're trying to accomplish something, whether it be losing weight, finishing a project, starting a business, working on something that is going to take you time to finish, the thing that you have to watch out for is distractions, and you have to fight your own laziness. You have to fight your own desire to not do anything. And I feel like if you've been through something in life, if you've been through something that's traumatic, if you've had a hard life, you're going to have this trait ingrained in you. Discipline's a really important trait, yo. And I was talking about the single mother thing earlier. I'm going to do a separate video about that. But the reason why I brought that up is because a lot of times moms are very important. Just so you know, I am not criticizing people at all who were raised by single mothers. That's not the point of this. Before you assume that. That's not what I'm going to say, because some folks are going to assume I'm going to say something before I say it. Moms are there to be nurturing. When something bad happens to us, Your mom is the best person to give you a big hug, give you a kiss, and tell you it's going to be okay. Or your wife, or whoever is important in your life. A lot of the women in your life, a lot of women are there to be nurturing. And a lot of times they're better at being nurturing than men. They should be. They should be better at being nurturing than men. That's okay. Men are industrious and women are more nurturing. That's just how it is. Sometimes it goes the other way. But what happens is you don't have somebody sometimes in your life who's going to take accountability and make you face your own accountability. Sometimes you need someone who's going to give you a big kick in the ass and say, go get it done. And sometimes fathers do that. Now, not always. There's obviously fathers who aren't like that. There's obvious situations where maybe you're too grown for it. But in life, you're going to need your friends and your crew to really give you that kick in the ass, your real friends. And if not, you have to give it to yourself. And this is all part of discipline. When I wake up in the morning, you think I want to freaking lift weights? You think I want to go work on YouTube? I love this job, but sometimes I just don't want to do it. It is what it is, That goes for any job. Sometimes I want to romp and play and not do anything. But guess what? I still do it. I'm not going to name any names. Okay, but I'll tell an actual personal story about me. When Dragon Ball Super was on the air over on Geekdom 101, I was pumping out a lot of content. At the time, I was in a relationship and I neglected her because I was so hyper-focused on YouTube that she became not a priority. As a result of that, a breakup happened. Now, I'm saying that because I was so ingrained in getting YouTube up and running and getting my channel going because I was making a ton of money and I was also enjoying myself. For the first time I had a job, well, not for the first time, but for a first time in a long time, I had a job that I truly loved. So I was in there grinding, and here's what I'm going to say with this. I have friends of mine who are also content creators who just stopped uploading when Super ended. They just stopped. And when I would talk to them about it, they would say things like, well, I'm depressed, or this happened, I went through a breakup. And look, depression is a very real thing in a lot of people. And depression is something that definitely can shackle you. But here's the reality. The winners in life break the shackles. During my time on YouTube, I went through numerous breakups. I went through several pieces of drama behind the scenes with people. I had fallings out with friendships. I went through the pandemic. I went through a lot of things, and yet through it all, I never stopped uploading. Most people don't even know what I went through. Most of you guys do not know what YouTubers go through behind the scenes because we don't tell you. And I'm talking about not just YouTubers that cover nerd stuff. I mean everybody, dude. There's problems behind the scenes that people don't know about. There's YouTubers that I knew who had cancer, who were going through divorces and fighting for custody of their children, but they never said any of this publicly because it's a private matter that they choose to not display. And when you see them on camera, they're happy, they're joyful, but it's the tears of a clown. They're hiding the fact that they're going through some tough stuff. You know what I mean? Going through some difficult things. You understand? I went through some difficult things. A lot of people do. But I never stopped uploading because I knew that if I stopped, it could mean the end. And I loved my job too much. And I always saw the end of the road. You have to, if you are feeling depressed or if you're feeling lazy or unmotivated, you have to find the motivation. And that is part of being disciplined. If your routine to lose weight is to go on a specific diet, a high protein diet, it's up to you to have the discipline to avoid the donuts, to avoid the ice creams, and eat right. It's up to you to wake up every morning, lift weights, and go running. Do you want to do it? No. Do sometimes you wake up and you're pissed because you and your girlfriend had a fight? Sure, that happens. You still got to do it. That's discipline. The important thing about being successful is not, oh, I want to do what I like to do, right? It's more than that. I want to do what I like to do, but I want to do what I like to do even when I don't want to do it. even when I don't like doing it. There's so many entrepreneurs out there who are so freaking wealthy that they don't have to even go to work anymore. They're so rich, but they still wake up at 5 in the morning. They still put on their expensive suit. They still go to the office and work, even though they don't have to, especially with the way technology is now with work from home and remoting, but they still do it because they know they're so driven that nothing's going to stop them. They have to do it, even when they don't want to. And that's discipline. And I think that sometimes if you let your emotions control you, if you let the way you feel control you, the other guy coming up behind you who's able to block out these negative emotions, who's able to stay focused, who's able to have discipline is going to pass you, bro. He's going to pass you. And then your opportunity might be gone. I'm talking about this in various different ways in life, specifically when it comes to work. You know, like if you're out there and you're like an athlete, let's say you're a runner, because a lot of you guys, some of you guys probably do sports. You got to wake up and run, dude. Even when you don't want to, even when your legs are hurting, you got to do it. Because if you don't, someone else is going to come around and do it and swallow all of that BS and just run through and accomplish their goals. You have to be like that. You have to compete. Unfortunately, life is about competition, and you're not going to always win. But that's okay if you don't win. That's fine. That is okay. There's a quote from John F. Kennedy that I love. He says, every accomplishment starts with the decision to try. You have to try. You have to. Because if you don't, the next person will try, and then the person after that will try, and next thing you know, you go from first place to fourth place, to maybe not even finishing. And that's what separates the real winners. That's what separates the real winners from the mid-carders, to use a wrestling term, the minimum wage group. And I think a lot of people out there are genuinely intelligent. I think a lot of folks out there are genuinely trying their best. Some of you guys are, right? And you still can't catch a break. But someday that break will come. And then when it comes, you really got to crank it up. So discipline is so important, because discipline is what keeps you focused. And ultimately, at the end of the day, you will thank me for telling you this. And more importantly, you'll thank yourself when you actually do accomplish what you want, when you actually do succeed. Anyways, I may do a follow-up video about this because I feel like I'm missing something. But just remember, man, in life, you need discipline. You need something to pull from in your heart that's going to help you keep going no matter how many obstacles life throws at you. It's all about focus. And the more focused you are, the higher the probability is that you will succeed. Even if you don't, you're definitely not going to be in last place. Because unfortunately, a lot of people nowadays are lazy, and you don't have to be like that. Take care. We'll talk soon.